Chapter 2. Terms pertaining to the body as a whole. This chapter will orient you to the body as a whole. It shows you how the body is organized from its smallest elements, cells, to entire body systems. Not only do you see where these body structures are located, but you understand how they function as well. In this chapter, you'll learn about the body cavities, regions, and quadrants of the abdomen and back, as well as terminology related to the position, direction, and planes of the body. This will enhance your ability to understand radiologic reports and charts in which doctors are describing test results and patient conditions. Let me give you a special tip about this chapter. Pay close attention to the 5 study sections to help you review and master the material. These will identify terms you need to know. Here's the key. Take time to write these terms with their meanings, and then test yourself on them. Let's begin Chapter 2.
Pronunciation of terms, Chapter 2, Abdomen. The abdomen is the region of the body located between the chest and hip or pelvic region. The abdomen contains organs such as the stomach, liver, and intestines. Abdominal cavity. Abdominal means pertaining to the abdomen. The abdominal cavity is the space between the chest and pelvis containing the abdominal organs. Anterior. The anterior portion of a structure is its front. Bronchoscopy. Bronchoscopy is visual examination of the bronchial tubes using an endoscope or bronchoscope. Cartilage. Cartilage is an elastic connective tissue. It is softer than bone, yet tougher than muscle. Cartilage is found near bones and joints as supportive and strengthening tissue. Cervical. Cervico means neck. Cervical is pertaining to the neck of the body. Cervical also means pertaining to the cervix, which is the neck of the uterus. Coccygeal. Coccygeal is pertaining to the coccyx or tailbone. Coccyx. The coccyx, C-O-C-C-Y-X, is the tailbone, located at the end of the spinal column or backbone. Cranial cavity. Cranial means pertaining to the skull. The cranial cavity contains organs such as the brain and the pituitary gland. Craniotomy. Remember, tomy means incision. A craniotomy, then, is an incision of the skull. Diaphragm. Dia, D-I-A, means through. Phragm, P-H-R-A-G-M, means wall or partition. The diaphragm is a muscular wall separating the chest and abdomen. Disc. A disc is a circular plate-like structure composed of cartilage. An intervertebral disc lies between 2 backbones. Epithelial cell. Thelio, T-H-E-L-I-O, means nipple. Epithelial cells, originally identified as covering or upon the surface of breast nipples, are cells arranged in 1 or more layers, covering and lining all body surfaces. Epithelial cells not only cover the outer layer of skin, but they line tube-like structures within the body, such as the digestive and respiratory tracts. Esophageal. Esophageal means pertaining to the esophagus. Esophagus. The esophagus is a muscular tube carrying food from the throat to the stomach. Frontal plane. Frontal means pertaining to the front or anterior portion of the body or an organ. The frontal plane divides the body vertically into front and back portions. The frontal plane is also the coronal plane. Hepatitis. The combining form hepato means liver. Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver. Hypochondriac region. Hypo, H-Y-P-O, means below. Chondro, C-H-O-N-D-R-O, is cartilage. Iac, I-A-C, means pertaining to. The hypochondriac regions are the 2 upper lateral abdominal areas below the cartilage portion of the ribs. Curiously, the term hypochondriac also may describe a patient preoccupied with health complaints. This meaning originated with the ancient Greeks, who identified the spleen and the liver, located in opposite hypochondriac regions of the abdomen, as sites of chemicals that they believed negatively affected an individual's physical and mental health. Laparoscopy. Laparoscopy is the process of visually examining the contents of the abdomen using a laparoscope and other instruments inserted into the abdomen via several small incisions. It is a form of minimally invasive surgery. Laparotomy. A laparotomy is a surgical procedure involving a large incision through the abdominal wall. A cesarean section for the delivery of a fetus is an example of a laparotomy. Laryngeal. Laryngeal is pertaining to the larynx or voice box. Laryngectomy. A laryngectomy is removal of the larynx or voice box. Larynx. The larynx is the voice box located in the upper portion of the windpipe or trachea. Lateral. Lateral is pertaining to the side of an organ or part of the body. Lumbar region. In the back of the body, the lumbar region is the lower portion of the back. Lymphocyte. A lymphocyte is a type of white blood cell found in lymph nodes. Lymphocytes fight disease by making antibodies or killing cells by ingestion and releasing chemical poisons. Mediastinum. Media, M-E-D-I-A, means middle. Stinum, S-T-I-N-U-M, means partition or wall. The mediastinum is the middle area in the chest between the lungs. The mediastinum contains organs such as the heart, esophagus, trachea, and thymus gland. Pelvic cavity. The pelvic cavity is the space surrounded by the bones of the hip. Peritoneal. Peritoneal means pertaining to the peritoneum. The peritoneum is a double-layered membrane surrounding the organs of the abdominal cavity and attaching them to the abdominal wall. Peritoneum. The peritoneum is the double-folded membrane that surrounds and protects the abdominal organs. Pharyngeal or pharyngeal. Pharyngeal means pertaining to the pharynx. Pharynx. The pharynx is the throat. Pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is an endocrine gland located at the base of the brain. It secretes many hormones that affect different organs and even the growth of bones. The term is actually a misnomer. Pituit, P-I-T-U-I-T, means phlegm or nasal secretion. Because of its location at the back of the nasal passages, early physicians wrongly thought it produced a type of nasal secretion. Pleura. The pleura is a delicate membrane surrounding each lung and is divided into two layers. An inner layer covers the lung and an outer layer lines the chest wall. Posterior. Posterior means pertaining to the back of the body or the back of a structure. Remember, dorsal also means pertaining to the back. Sacral. Sacral means pertaining to the sacrum. Sacrum. The sacrum, a large triangular bone, is at the dorsal part of the pelvis. Sagittal plane. The sagittal plane is the plane that divides the body into right and left portions. Spinal cavity. The spinal cavity is the space surrounded by the backbones. It contains the spinal cord. Spinal cord. The spinal cord is the nervous tissue contained within the spinal cavity. It carries electrical messages to and from the brain. Spinal column. The spinal column is a series of backbones or vertebrae